Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hello and welcome back to Stoudman's Summer Movie Reviews. This week I'll be reviewing the Disney Pixar movie Up due to viewer demand. Obviously this means I was unable to find Moon playing in theaters anywhere close. I don't want to go into detail too much about the subject, so if you'd like to, you could actually read more about it on my new blog, Cinema Fan Geek, at cinemafangeek.blogspot.com. Now, on to the review. So, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike Pixar films. I just don't like people who act like because it's Pixar, it's automatically going to be a good film. Obviously, Pixar has an impeccable record, but you'd be a fool not to notice they've changed their format quite a bit since they originally started making films back in the mid-90s. Films like Ratatouille and WALL-E have a much different formula than Toy Story and A Bug's Life. Their earlier films were geared more towards children with a more simplistic morality to all of it than their later films. With films like Ratatouille and WALL-E, we are presented with some serious and sometimes dark adult images and morals, much more lightly suggested than what the average animated film dares to do. Of course, Pixar is no average animation studio, and their latest film, Up, follows their recent format successfully. The problem I have with this format is that I've grown up watching animated films, and the idea behind 99% of them is to amuse the viewer. Unfortunately, with Pixar's new formula, there are fewer and fewer laughs to be found, especially for adults, who are in most cases able to keep up with the sometimes dark or often far too realistic messages being given to them by the filmmakers. It feels strange to even talk about an animated film like that because, to be quite honest, nobody has ever done this before. No animation studio has ever dared to bring the animated film into a truly artistic state of being quite like Pixar has, and I can't even think of any that have even tried to at any time. Pixar dares to tread new and dangerous roads, and they are greeted with success and legions of fans and happy customers for it. I'm not quite sure what makes their formula so incredibly well received, but by such a broad audience, but whatever they're doing, it's working. That cannot be denied. When it comes to their latest film, Up, the story being told is something most people nowadays can relate to on a deeper level. But I feel if I tried to go into depth explaining it to you, that I'd be cheating you out of the experience entirely. Just know that in these harsh economic times, this film has a positive message for everyone to take away from it about what the future may hold for them. You'd almost have to consider them brilliant marketers, as Pixar continues to deal with topical issues that are entrenched deeply within the subconscious of people all over the world. I feel this is a big reason as to why they are so popular and so widely accepted as an amazing animation company. In this case, they not only deliver a message in relation to an important topical issue, but they deliver it to the very people who need it the most. Those who are going to the movies to escape the harsh realities of the real world in a time when the real world is a kind of scary and sad place to be. I really felt this movie was geared much towards adults, much more towards adults than kids, too, because the message delivered was given to a generation of people feeling a pinch like they have never felt it before, and giving them hope for the future. Your average kid is not going to understand that at all. However, most kids seem to be receiving the film well regardless. Perhaps it's the seamless branching of expressionism and realism, fantasy and reality that lets the viewer enter into another world and take a journey of self-discovery. Perhaps it's just that they can relate to the little kid. Regardless, the house representing reality and the balloons representing an escape from that reality is in essence an artistic message being delivered to the senses that the real has just become unreal and you are in for a ride. But gravity still exists, and if you let loose a few too many balloons, that house may just fall to the ground on you. This is just something you do not see in an animated film. Ever. As such, I think it would be hard to deny this film at least an A for its artistic approaches in film rather than just animation. Simply put, don't expect your average animated film, but this is something everyone should see. As for special effects, it's Pixar, which means completely brilliant CGI animation. I guess what I'd really talk about here, since it is an animated film, is the 3D effects, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering if it's really worth seeing in 3D. Let's just say that I can't really say that it really felt like this movie was made for 3D and for 3D only. I recall seeing Monsters vs. Aliens and thinking this movie should only be seen in 3D, because a lot is lost without it. However, with Up I felt like visually and virtually nothing was lost from it, and it could have gone either way. It wasn't really necessary for the film to be an enjoyable experience just to see it in 3D, in any aspect whatsoever. I think if I had the option again, I'd probably see it without the 3D, just because of how little is actually added to the experience through 3D. The previews felt more impressive than the whole movie in this aspect of the 3D aspect. Regardless, the animation was, of course, flawless and incredibly fun to watch. As such, I'll give the special effects an A as well, but that's about all I have to say about the subject. The story for the film was, as previously stated, brilliant. It was geared more towards adults, which you have to expect with a geriatric man as the main character. However, it worked for both adults and children, and the moral behind the story was an incredibly important one to be delivered at this moment in time. The story was a little slow at times, leaving you wanting for excitement. However, there were talking dogs. Talking dogs are freaking awesome. I have gone back and forth about this story over and over in my head, but in the end, the most important thing to remember about it is that it's not designed to be incredibly amusing or even incredibly adventurous. It's meant to deliver an deep, important message through the medium of large flightless birds, hundreds of talking dogs, 2 old men, and a young Boy Scout. Let it never be said that Pixar is incapable of miracles, as this film stands firmly as proof against that statement. The story gets an A as well. So, will this film be the first in all of my reviews to get all A's? Well, it's down to the acting, and in this case, it's going to be voice acting. The voice acting in this film was... Okay, I'm done. How can I keep you waiting any longer? How could the voice acting not be good? I haven't heard bad voice acting in a long time, and I have never heard it in conjunction with a Pixar film ever. There's simply no denying this film the ratings it so rightly deserves. A, 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 A. The voice acting gets an A to complete the madness and definitively place this film at the top of your to-watch list, as if you haven't seen it already. You know you want to see it eventually if you haven't. You didn't need me to tell you that, but my hope was that this review gave you a better sense of what to expect from this movie, so that you can enjoy it as fully as possible and see buried within it the messages that are so integral and important to its design. Pixar's Up is yet another unabashed success from the studio, leaving fans to wonder if they are even capable of making anything bad. In an unreliable world, we can at least rely on one little animation company to deliver true, high-quality films for people of all ages to enjoy. And if that's all you take back from the experience of watching this film, you will still find it hard to feel cheated out of any money you spend on seeing it. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll tune in for my next movie review of Transformers Revenge of the Fallen on June 26th. And remember to check out my new blog, Cinema Fan Geek, during the week for more movie news.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.